continued over clear.
Hello and welcome to a very wet and windy Special Stage Extra. We're here in Wales for the Welsh Rally Championship with a few new faces that have entered this time, so let's bring you some of the action from the very rainy stages this morning. Back and looking to kickstart their season were Luke Francis and John Roberts. Previous rounds hadn't been kind, but this weekend was looking good for the pair so far as they take the early lead. How's it going today, Luke?
Well, I thought we were a bit off the pace, to be honest, but I think we were lying second at the minute, so I was a bit wrong there. But yeah, we're having a not bad morning. We had the wipers pack up on us first thing, which wasn't ideal. So yeah, apart from that, it's okay. The conditions aren't the best, so just got to carry on.
Things would be close at the top, with Bob Keane and Chris Brooks reaching the midway point just 2 seconds behind Francis. Through the day, Bob, how's it going?
Oh yeah, quite good. You know, we had a few issues on the first few stages, but I'm sure everybody else did, and I think we're still in touch, so looking forward to the afternoon really. Put some new tyres on. We've been running on second-hand ones this morning, so maybe make a difference.
Ewan Rowlands and Emir Hall join us at this round. Local stages would play into their hands, and they lead the two-wheel drive crews at this stage despite a small moment along the way.
Well, I didn't enjoy the first one. It was so wet, the front screen misted up and we lost quite a bit of time there. But on the shorter second and third one, it was drying out a bit and it was much better there. We pulled a bit of time back. I think we're leading only by a couple of seconds, I think, with the two-wheel drives there. No, enjoying it. Glad to be back out of the car.
Roland Llewellyn and Jamie Edwards come into this round after a good result last time out, and it starts well here too. 4th overall and leading the Group N battle at this stage. So you're halfway through the day, Roland. How is it all going?
Yeah, it's going well. It's quite very wet out there, and we had an off in the last stage, but apart from that, going really well. Really pleased.
Hoping to dry off a little bit this afternoon as well.
Yeah, stay dry overhead. I mean, there's a lot of sort of bit of fog here and there, and it's difficult to see in places, but if it stay dry, it'd be really good.
11 seconds would be the difference in that class, with Paul Davey and Roger Allen lying second at this stage with a few moments along the way, including this spin on stage 1.
Well, I thought it was going pretty rubbish, to be fair, but it ain't too bad. I think it's the same for everyone. The conditions are quite tricky, aren't they? So, been caught out a few times, been off on every stage, but nothing drastic, so it's going all right,
Things were going well for Jamie Dukes and Dave Williams, one of many to suffer with a misted up windscreen, but other than that the times were good, lying 6th overall and leading Class 6. John Rowlands and Cleon Williams would be just behind Dukes on the results, not counting in the drivers' times, only here for some points for co-driver Williams. Wug Utting and Bob Stoker were enjoying the stages as they always do, and lying in 7th place they lie 3rd in the Group N battle at this stage. Ian Joel and Graham Wood joined the championship this weekend, another to be suffering with a screen misting, but 8th place for now was a good place for a push this afternoon. Marion Evans and Jonathan Jackson were still getting used to the new car, finding the later morning stages a little more slippery than the early ones as they sit just inside the top 10 in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 were Craig Golder and John Kane, settling into a steady pace and looking to push a little more in the afternoon. Unfortunately, we would lose Dylan Davis and Mark Glenister when the ECU fails in stage 2. In some of the classes outside the top 10, it would be the Class 3 lead for Arwen Lloyd-Davies and Aled Edwards. Andy Williams and Wyn Davies lie a place back in 12th overall and just rounding out the top of Class 8 with 3rd in the class. David Lloyd-Roberts and Di Jones make a good start this morning to lead the way in Class 5 and lie in 13th overall. Rounding out the top of Class 7 would be Steve Ellis and Steve McPhee, a few places back from their nearest class rivals, but they had a good advantage themselves in that third place. Tim Keynes and Richard May make a good start with second in Class 6 at this stage, despite a puncture in Stage 2 and not being too happy with the setup of the car. And they would have a small lead of just 5 seconds over Gary Smith and Andy Wynne, the pair lying third in Class 6 and ready to fight for second place this afternoon. The gap to the Class 3 lead would be quite a big one, but for Hefin Lloyd-Davis and Mark Lewis it would be second in that class and 18th overall. They have just over a minute advantage in that place themselves. John Baker and Ian Jones were enjoying a consistent run once again as they lie in 19th place and taking second in Class 5 for now. James Watkins and Karen Tomlinson end the morning third in the Class 3 battle, expecting the conditions to be worse running towards the back of the field. Daniel Owen and Keegan Rees round out the top of Class 5, third in class and 22nd overall. And it will be problems for John Jones and Jez Rogers this weekend. Not a good start at all in 25th, but they still lead Class 4. Sadly, we lose Martin and Dawn England. They retire in service after a bad start to the event. So midway through the day and the results look like this. On to the second half of the day and a repeat of the morning's stages. Unfortunately, we lose Steve Ellis and Steve McPhee, the gear linkage breaking in Stage 4. Luckily for John Jones and Jez Rogers, there would only be them in Class 4, so it would be maximum class points this weekend, despite the 21st place finish. No change in the class for Daniel Owen and Keegan Rees. They continue to round out the podium places in Class 5 at the end of the event. For James Watkins and Karen Tomlinson, it would be a step up to take second in Class 3, a good result for the pair this weekend. No advance for John Baker and Ian Jones. They get to the end of the event with second place in Class 5, a result which means they lead the championship in that class after round 3. Armin Lloyd-Davies and Aled Edwards drop a few places overall to lie 15th at the end of the day, but more importantly they keep hold of that Class 3 lead to the finish. Despite problems throughout the day, it would still be a good finish for Tim Cairns and Richard May, third in Class 6, backing off in the final stages due to a low oil pressure warning. That all means it would be second in the class for Gary Smith and Andy Wynne, a good finish for the pair in 13th overall, just 12 seconds ahead of Cairns. David Lloyd-Roberts and Di Jones claim themselves a class victory this weekend, putting them second in the class for the championship so far this season. No change for Andy Williams and Wynne Davis as they reach the end of the event with third in Class 8, a great start to their championship points this weekend. No change for Craig Golder and John Kane. They continue to round out the top 10 and take second in the class, the result putting them 4 points clear at the top of the Class 8 championship. Marion Evans and Jonathan Jackson have another successful outing in the new car, 9th overall and second in Class 7. For Woog Utting and Bob Stokoe, it will be third in the Group N fight. They end the event with 8th overall too. A good first time out in the championship for Ian Joel and Graham Wood this weekend as they finish in 7th overall and start the season with some good class points too. Jamie Dukes and Dave Williams have a great one this weekend to take the Class 6 win as well as 6th overall. This result sees them lying 4th overall in the championship after round 3. Leon Williams scores some good co-driver points with John Rowlands alongside, putting him second in the overall co-driver standings. Paul Davey and Roger Allen will have to settle for second in the Group N battle this weekend. The result still puts them second in the overall standings after this round. But that means this weekend it's the class win for Roland Llewellyn and Jamie Edwards, their season looking like it was back on track with 2 good results in a row. Ewan Rowlands and Emir Hall's debut in the championship on this round sees them take 3rd overall and of course lead the way in Class 7 and the 2-wheel drive crews. For Bob Keane and Chris Brooks, it would be second overall. A close battle all day, but missing out by just 8 seconds at the finish. The result sees Bob with a 4-second lead in the championship after round 3. But for this weekend at least, it would be the win for Luke Francis and John Roberts. Their season not off to the best of starts with 2 non-finishes, so the points here would be welcomed. So with the event complete, the results looked a little like this.
Didn't think we would even start the event this morning, so we're made up to even be here first in the Welsh Championship, so made up.
Did you have a tricky morning this morning in the rain?
I think we've had a tricky day all day, to be honest. I'm not very good in the fog, so this afternoon's been completely fog everywhere, so yeah, we've had a bit of a difficult day, so glad to come out on top.
I was going to say, you're moaning about how difficult it's been, but you've done really well. Something must have gone right.
Yeah, they must have done, because I came out of the last stage thinking there's no way that we finished second overall today, but luckily we put a good time in on the last stage, so yeah, happy with that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So despite the tricky conditions this morning, Luke Francis finally finds his feet and takes the win here in Wales after not finishing on the previous 2 rounds. That's it from us here in Wales and the Welsh Rally Championship, but join us after the break for more action.
Round 2 of the F1000 Junior Rally Championship took place on Anglesey, and unlike the end of last season, the weather was actually good this weekend. It will be straight into the lead for Charlie Barlow and Neil Coleman, the round 1 winners, starting this round just as they'd left the last one. A great start to the rally. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the same look for Zach Hughes and Chris Evans. We lose the pair in stage 3 when the strut breaks on the car. For Seb Perez and Phil Hall, it would be second at this stage. A good start to the day for the pair, just 3 seconds behind the leaders. Edward Fossey and Sean Humphreys make a good start in third. The gap was a little bigger at 25 seconds, but they were involved in a good battle themselves for that place. Chasing them down now were Tom Delaney and Joe Crittenden. The 4th placed pair were only 3 seconds behind the podium places at this stage. And unfortunately, we lose Will Butler and Tom Wood when the gearbox fails on stage 3. We'd also lose Tommy Meadows and Ian Oakey. The pair hit a chicane on stage 2 and bend the steering arm, which would soon cause the drive shaft to snap under the excess pressure. Back to those still running then, and it will be 5th for Matthew Davies and Ian Taylor at this stage, 21 seconds behind Delaney up ahead. Ellie Williams and Elgin Davies were having a great run so far, with 6th place for now. Almost a minute behind Davies, but they have a minute advantage in that place themselves. Tom Williams and Emma Morrison lie in 7th after 4 stages, a little way behind Williams ahead, but the times were close behind them. With 8th place, Jack Hartley and John Cressy just 6 seconds behind the pair. Things going okay for the pair at this stage in the rally. Umberto Acanero and Rob Gillam were a further 10 seconds back from the pair ahead. They lie in 9th place and look safe there if they couldn't take any more places before the end of the day. And rounding out the top 10 were Conor O'Brien and Unam Pyler. So So midway through, and the results are looking like this. On to the second half of the day then, and we lose Flynn Lewis and Andrew Richards when they hit chicane in stage 5. Sadly for Conor O'Brien and Unam Pila, they would slip down the results to take 11th place at the end of the rally. And that means it's a step up to round out the top 10 for Georgina Bentley and Damien Smith here at the second round. No change though for Umberto Acanero and Rob Gillam as they hold on to that 9th place. Jack Hartley and John Cressy remain as they are too, and they end the rally in 8th overall. It will be 7th place for Tom Williams and Emma Morrison. They have a close battle all day for that position. But it would still be Ellie Williams and Elgin Davies that come out on top of that little battle, 10 seconds up and taking 6th place. For Matthew Davies and Ian Taylor, it will be 5th. Gaining some good time over the afternoon stages, but missing out on 4th by just seconds. However, there would be change in that 4th position, as we see Seb Perez and Phil Hall drop down from 2nd place into 4th in the afternoon stages. No change though for Edward Fossey and Sean Humphreys. They have a great run this weekend to take the final step on the podium here at the second round. And some great times too for Tom Delaney and Joe Cruttenden. See them climb the results from 4th into 2nd, taking the runner-up place at the end of the rally. But that means that it will be win number 2 for Charlie Barlow, with Neil Coleman alongside. The pair held the lead all day and take victory by almost a minute. So at the end of the junior rally, the results looked like this. On to the senior event then, and it will be an early lead for Brandon Smith and Terry Martin, a lead of 8 seconds at this stage. Unfortunately, it will be early retirement for second car on the road Mike Gilman and Ian Douglas. They retire on the 3rd stage of the rally. Howard Potter and Martin Haggett would make a good start to the event to lie in 2nd at this stage, leading the way in Class B as well. And for Mike Taylor and Peter Grant, it will be 3rd. The pair still getting used to the changes on the car, but it was going well, just 13 seconds behind Potter. Sadly, we lose Mark Jones and Christopher Brearley when the pair, having had a good run up until this point, hit a tyre, breaking the steering rack. They make it to the end of stage 3 though, where they'd have to call it a day. The fight for the podium would be close though, with Will Owen and Katie Jones locked in a close battle with Taylor up ahead. Just a single second was the difference between the pair at this halfway point. The gap to 5th would be a little bigger. Andy Graham and Rob McHenry lying in that place, 19 seconds behind Owen. And for Dale and Mark Carter, it will be 6th, 11 seconds behind Graham up ahead. Martin Fox and Sean Cunniff put in some good times to end this morning's stages in 7th, just 4 seconds behind Carter. It will be the Class C lead at this stage for Jason Wilson and Taylor Herbert. They lead the way in that class from 8th overall. And Ken Jones and Hugh Williams lie just inside the top 10 at this stage, the Evo pair taking 9th at the midway point. Rounding out our top 10 here were Mark Campbell and Wayne Allman at this stage, the pair also lying 2nd in Class C. And speaking of Class C, rounding out the top of that class just outside the top 10 will be Andrew Holm and Alan Whittaker in 15th overall. Just behind them on the overall leaderboard in 14th were Alan Kitson and Matt Broadbent, the pair the only ones running in Class A. And it will be 19th on the leaderboard for Luke Myers and Joshua Pullin, sole runners in Class F this weekend. So midway through the rally, the results were looking like this. On to the second half of the day then, and a look at the finishers. And it will be 19th overall for Luke Myers and Joshua Pullin. No change for the pair overall, and of course, in Class F being the only runners. Alan Kitson and Matt Broadbent lose a few places overall, slipping down from 14th to 17th. Andrew Holm and Alan Whittaker stay as they are. ending the event this weekend with 3rd in Class C and 16th on the leaderboard. There will be change at the top of the class though, as previous class winners Jason Wilson and Taylor Herbert dropped down the results into 13th overall, dropping them to 2nd in Class C, which does mean that Mark Campbell and Wayne Ullman remain where they are, rounding out the top 10, but the Class C victory had now been handed to them in the afternoon stages. Dominic Delaney and Tim Cruttenden make a move up the results in the afternoon stages and getting themselves into the top 10 to finish 9th overall. Ken Jones and Hugh Williams, meanwhile, gain themselves a place in the afternoon to finish the event in 8th. It's 7th overall for Martin Fox and Sean Cunniff. No change on this morning's position and a good result for the pair. And a great result too for Dale and Mark Carter, ending the event in 6th and missing out on the next place by just a single second. So just managing to hold on to that 5th place at the finish were Andy Graham and Rob McHenry, a result that gets them 3rd in Class D. It will be all change at the top of the results in the afternoon stages, though Brandon Smith and Terry Martin unfortunately lose the lead of the event, having to settle for 4th place at the end of the day. No change though for Mike Taylor and Peter Grant. They continue as they are to round out our podium places. And there wouldn't be any change for Howard Potter and Martin Haggett either. 2nd place was theirs all afternoon, and they end the day just there as well, just over a minute off the lead. And the win this weekend, after lying a few places back this morning, will belong to Will Owen and Katie Jones. A great fight back to take the rally victory this weekend. So at the end of the event, the results look like this.
Five right flat in and 6 right continued over clear.